and welcome to the first edition of Book Talk. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Mrs. Berger, and I'm the new high school library media specialist. And every month I'll be sending out these videos on YouTube, so you can subscribe to my channel if you're interested. But I'll be sending them out to the various English teachers to show you guys in class. And the idea of Book Talk is it's just a small web series where I talk to you about books relevant to high schoolers. So for this first episode, I thought I would talk about two of my favorite high school authors. Both of these authors their books could also be considered kind of adult, but mostly targeted towards ages like 14 to 20. So the first one I want to talk about, her name is, here's a good one, Emery Lord, and this book is called When We Collide. I'm going to talk to you about two of her books today, but she also has more. So this one's called When We Collide, and the main character is a boy named Jonah, and his dad has died, and his mom is depressed, because it's been a lot. And the family owns a restaurant, and Jonah is trying to keep his brothers alive, take care of his brothers, keep the restaurant open. He's got like a lot on his plate. And his mom's battling with depression because they lost their dad. And into town rolls Vivi. And Vivi is beautiful and full of energy. And like the cover says, it's all about when they collide. They fall in love, and they deal with loss and healing and some of the most difficult parts of their life together. Great book. The front cover says, how do you find yourself when you're falling apart? So that's When We Collide by Emery Lord. She also wrote two really good books that I like. One's called Open Road Summer and The Start of You and Me. Those are coming in. We don't have them yet. And here's the next one I want to talk to you guys about. It's called The Names They Gave Us. And it's also by Emery Lord. So see, same author. So both of these books would be considered realistic fiction. I would probably call When We Collide a romance. They all have romance vibes to them for sure. So in this one, our main character is Lucy, and Lucy's mother had cancer and went into remission, and now it's come back. And then her boyfriend decides to pause their relationship for the summer, whatever that means. And then, normally she spends summer working at a camp, and that gets shifted to a different camp with kids who have lots of issues. And she pretty much thinks it couldn't get any worse. Like, everything's going wrong. And she goes to work at the camp for the summer trying to sort things out, and all the different people she interacts with at the camp are really motivating and empowering and really interesting people. And so she kind of learns that there's more to life than focusing on yourself. And so that is The Names They Gave Us. So again, Emery Lord is that author. Really good one. The next one I want to talk to you about is definitely a historical fiction author. She is without a doubt one of my favorite young adult authors. Her name is Ruta Septis. And I actually am not going to show you my favorite book by her today because it's not in. But my favorite book that she wrote is called Between Shades of Grey. But you have to talk to me about that one another time. So let's start with this one. This one is called Salt to the Sea. So when Ruta wrote this book, she wanted to tell a story about World War II that had never been told. And so she wrote about the Wilhelm Goddard, and it was a ship. And so in this book, there are four main characters. Each of them is running for their life and running from World War II. I mean, one of them is a Nazi who's running for his life. One of them has stolen a piece of artwork and is running for his life. One of them is pregnant and hiding it and kind of on the run. So these four people meet up trying to get out of Europe during World War II. And they get themselves onto this ship as a way of escaping. And they kind of connect with each other on the ship. But the problem is the Russians bomb the ship. And so you'll have to read this book to see who comes out alive. It is totally based on a true story. This ship catastrophe was worse than the Titanic. So many people died. And that is a real event that happened. Now, obviously, the characters in the book aren't real. That's what makes it historical fiction. But it is a phenomenal story. Ruta Septis can tell a story. You feel completely sucked in. Let's look at another one of hers. This one's called Out of the Easy. And if you've never heard of it, the Big Easy is the nickname for New Orleans. And our main character, her name's Josie, and her mom is really sketchy. She has a very sketchy job in New Orleans, and Josie wants out. Josie wants to go to, an Ivy League school. She wants to get into a good college and get out of the crazy, rather wild life of New Orleans. And then she gets caught up in a murder investigation and has to kind of help clear her name as well as some other people's names. And she has to decide if she's going to get herself out or if she's going to fix her family. So another great story about history and growing up kind of in the French Quarter. It is not set today. It's set a little bit back in history. I can't remember the exact decade. But that one's out of the easy. And this last one, it's called I Must Betray You. And it is about another period in history most people don't know anything about. And that was the Romanian Revolution. It took place in December of 1989. And in this book, we have a main character. His name is Christian. And he ends up kind of being forced into being a spy for the Romanian government, when what he really wants to do is overthrow them and help with the revolution. So he ends up working kind of both sides of the line, and he helps the revolution kind of get ahead and overthrow their terrible dictator. Again, based on true events in the Romanian Revolution. Definitely not anything I knew about because I was 6 in 1989. So when I read this book, not only did I enjoy the story, but I learned a lot about something in history I wasn't aware of. So those are two of my favorite authors for high schoolers, Emery Lord and Ruta Septis. I hope you'll swing by the library and see all the changes that we've made this year. And check out the books. We've got hundreds of new books coming in all the time. Stop by, see me, read a book. Let's talk about books. I think it's really important that as you guys progress towards college and start getting ready for the career or the workforce, whatever it is, that you find what it is you like to read. Reading is one of the best ways to maintain a mental health balance in the stress of the adult world. Is to having an escape that is a book, to having something that helps relax you and take you away a little bit as you have to go start adulting. So stop by the library and see Mrs. Dooley and myself. Thanks for hanging out with us this month in Book Talk. And remember, always be a reader.